My friend Serge has bought a painting. It's a canvas about 4 feet by 3, white. The background is white, and if you screw up your eyes, you can see some fine white diagonal lines. Serge is one of my oldest friends. He's done very well for himself. He's a dermatologist, and he's really into art. On Monday, I went over to see this painting. He actually got hold of it on Saturday, but he'd been lusting after it for a few months. This white painting with the white lines.
Who's that?
Delani?
Never heard of him.
Jean Delani, the Delani Gallery.
The Delani Gallery would take it off your hands for $220?
Not the gallery. Him, Delani himself, for his own collection.
Why didn't Delani buy it?
It's important that they sell to private clients. That's how the market circulates.
Uh-huh.
Well? You're not looking at it from the right angle. Come on. Look at it from this angle. Can you see the lines? What's the name of the, Painter? Anthrios.
Well known?
Very. There. Serge, you have not bought this painting for 200,000 francs.
You don't understand. That's what it costs. It's an Anthrios.
Serge, you have not bought this painting for 200,000 francs.
I might have known you this.
You paid 200,000 francs for this shit? My friend Mark's an intelligent enough guy. I've always valued our relationship. He has a good job, he's an aeronautical engineer, but he's one of those new-style intellectuals who are not only enemies of modernism, but seem to take some kind of incomprehensible pride in running it down. In recent years, these nostalgia merchants have become quite breathtakingly arrogant. What do you mean by this shit? Where's your sense of humor? This is fantastic. Why aren't you laughing? This is fantastic, you buying this painting.
I don't care how fantastic it is. I don't like to laugh, but I would like to know what you mean by this shit.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not. By whose standards is it shit? If you're going to call something shit, you need to have some kind of criteria to judge it by.
Who are you talking to? No, who do you think you're talking to? Hello?
I have no interest in contemporary painting whatsoever. You never have. This is a subject about which you know absolutely nothing. So how can you assert that any given object that conforms to laws you don't understand is shit?
Because it is. It's shit. I'm sorry.
He doesn't like the painting. Fine. There was no warmth in the way he reacted. No attempt. No warmth when he dismissed it without a thought. Just that vile, pretentious laugh. A real know-it-all laugh. I hated that laugh.
It's a complete mystery to me, Serge, buying this painting. It's unsettled me. It's filled me with some indefinable unease. When I left his place, I had to take 3 pellets of Gelsenium 9C, which Paula recommended. Gelsenium or Ignatia, she said, which do you prefer, Gelsenium or Ignatia? How the hell should I know? Because I couldn't begin to understand how Serge, my friend, has bought this painting. 200,000 francs? He's comfortable, but he's not rolling in money. That's it, just comfortable. Yet he spends 200,000 francs
on a white painting. I have to go see Yvonne. He's a friend of ours. I have to discuss this with Yvonne. Although Yvonne's a tolerant enough guy, which of course when it comes to relationships is the worst thing you can be. Yvonne's tolerant because he couldn't care less. If Yvonne tolerates the fact that Serge paid 200 grand for a piece of white shit, it means he couldn't care less about Serge, obviously.
I'm Yvonne, a little tense at the moment, as having spent my entire life in textiles, I've just found a new job as a sales agent for a wholesale stationery business. People like me, my professional life has always been a failure, and I'm getting married in 2 weeks. She's a lovely, intelligent girl with a good family.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for the top of my pen.
All right, that's enough.
I had it in my hand 5 minutes ago.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Look, just buy another one.
It's a very special felt tip. It writes on any surface. It's infuriating. Objects, I can't tell you how much they infuriate me. I had it in my hand 5 minutes ago.
Are you going to live here?
Do you think it's suitable for a young couple?
Young?
I'm not gonna laugh like that in front of Catherine.
How's the stationery business?
It's all right. I'm learning.
You lost weight?
Of course I have. It pisses me off. It'll dry up. Sit down.
If you keep looking for that pen, I'm leaving.
Fine, I'll stop. You want something to drink?
A Pierre, if you have one. Have you seen Serge lately?
Not lately, no. Have you?
Yes. Yesterday.
Is he all right?
Yes. He just bought a painting.
Oh, yes?
Yes.
Nice?
White.
What?
White. Imagine a canvas about 4 feet by 3 with a white background. Completely white, in fact. With a few fine white diagonal stripes. Maybe another horizontal white line towards the bottom.
How can you see the lines?
What?
How can you see them? If the background's all white, how can you see the
You
lines?
just can. Because I suppose the lines are slightly gray or vice versa. Or, look, it doesn't matter. There's more than one kind of white.
You're getting upset. Why are you getting upset?
You immediately start quibbing. Can't you just let me finish?
All right, go on.
All right. So you have an idea of what the painting looks like?
I guess so, yes.
All right. Now, how much do you think Serge paid for it?
Well, who's the painter?
Trios? Ever heard of him?
No, is he fashionable?
I knew you were going to ask
It's
me
logical.
that. No, it's not logical.
Of course it's logical. You asked me to guess the price of the painter. You know very well the price depends on how
I'm not
fashionable...
asking for a whole set of critical standards. I'm not asking for a professional estimate. I'm asking you what you, Yvonne, would pay for a white painting with a few off-white stripes.
Jack shit.
Right. Now what about Serge? How much do you think he paid for it? Pick a figure out random.
10,000 francs.
Ha!
50,000.
Ha!
100,000.
Keep going!
150. 200!
200 grand! Yeah!
200 grand!
200 grand!
Is mom crazy?
Looks like it.
All the same.
What do you mean, all the same?
Well, if it makes him happy, he can afford it.
Is that what you think, huh?
Yeah, why? What do you think?
You don't understand the seriousness of this, do you?
No.
It's strange how you're missing the basic point of the story. All you see is externals. You don't understand the seriousness of this.
What is the
You
seriousness
don't
of
understand
it?
what this means.
You want to cash in?
You don't see that in suddenly some grotesque way Serge sees himself as a collector.
Well...
From now on, our friend Serge is one of the great connoisseurs.
Bullshit.
Of course it's bullshit. You can't buy your way in that cheap, but that's what he thinks.
Oh. I see.
Doesn't that bother you?
No, not if it makes him happy.
If it makes him happy, what kind of philosophy is that if it makes him happy?
If it's not doing harm to anybody else,
But
I don't
it
see-
is. It's doing harm to me. I'm disturbed. I am disturbed. More than that, I'm hurt. Yes, I am. I'm fond of Serge, but to see himself lose every ounce of discernment through sheer snobbery.
I don't know why you act so surprised. He's always haunted art galleries like crazy. He's always been an exhibition freak.
He's always been a freak. He's but a freak with a sense of humor. But basically, what really upsets me is I can't even laugh with him anymore.
Sure you
No,
can.
you can't.
Have you tried?
Of course I tried. I laughed. Heartedly. He didn't even crack a smile. Though 200 grand is kind of an expensive laugh.
Yeah. I'll make him laugh.
I'd be amazed. Any more nuts?
He'll laugh. You'll see.
And you get along well with the in-laws?
Wonderfully, as far as they're concerned, I'm some jerk stumbling from one iffy job to another. Now I'm groping my way into a world of vellum. Oh, this thing on my hand. What is it? Is it serious?
No.
Oh, good. So, what's new?
Nothing. Lots of work. Exhausted. It's nice to see you. You never call.
I don't like to disturb you.
You're kidding. You just speak with my secretary and I'll call you right back.
I guess so. The place gets more and more monastic.
Yes. Seen Mark lately.
Not lately, no, have you?
2 or 3 days ago.
Is he all right?
Yes, more or less.
Oh,
No, he's all right.
I talked to him on the phone last week. He seemed to be all right.
He is all right.
You seem to be implying that he isn't
No, on the
all
contrary, I
right.
said he was all right.
More or less, you
Yes,
said.
more or less. More or less. All right.
You been out? Seen anything?
No, I can't afford to go out.
Oh.
I'm ruined.
Oh.
Would you like to see something special? Would you like to?
Sure, well, yeah, show me.
Close your eyes. All right, open it.
Yes! 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 Yes!
It's the 70s, Andreas. Worth mentioning. He's going through a similar phase now, but this one's from the 70s.
Yes! Yes! Expensive?
In absolute terms, yes. In fact, no. You like it?
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Plain.
Plain, yes, and at the same time.
Magnetic.
Magnetic, yes!
You don't really get the resonance of it just at the moment.
Well, a little.
No, you don't. That resonance, you have to come back in the middle of the day. That resonance you get from something monochromatic, you don't really get it under artificial light. Not that it is actually monochromatic.
Oh, yes. How much?
200,000.
Very reasonable.
Very. Oh, crazy or what?
Crazy!
200,000. You know, Mark's seen this painting.
Oh.
Devastating.
Oh.
He called it shit. A completely inappropriate description.
Absolutely.
You can't call this shit.
No.
You can say, I don't get it, I can't grasp it, but you can't say it's shit.
You've seen his place.
Nothing to see, it's like yours. Well, what I mean is, you couldn't care less.
I mean, what do you expect? Mark likes things classical. He likes things classical.
He started in with this sardonic laugh, not a trace of charm, not a trace of humor.
It is true, he is a little gloomy.
He has no sense of humor. With you, I can laugh. With him, I'm like a block of ice.
It is true, he's moody too.
You know, I don't blame Mark for not responding to this painting. He doesn't have the skill set. There's a whole apprenticeship you have to go through, which he hasn't, either because he's never wanted to or because he has no particular instinct for it. None of that matters, no. What I blame him for is his smugness, his tactlessness, his tone of voice. I blame him for his insensitivity. I don't blame him for not being interested in modern art. I couldn't give a shit about that. I like him for other reasons.
And he likes you.
Mm-mm. No. I sensed it the other day. Kind of condescension, contempt with a really bitter edge.
No.
Yes.
Stop trying to smooth things over. Where do you get the urge to be the great reconciler of the human race? Why can't you just admit that Mark is atrophying? He isn't already atrophied.
We laughed.
You laughed.
We laughed, I swear on Catherine's life. We had a good laugh. Both of us. Together.
So you called it a piece of shit, and then you laughed?
No, I didn't call it shit. We laughed spontaneously.
All right. So you arrived, you looked at the painting, you laughed, then he laughed?
Yes, something like that. We talked a little, and I guess it went down how you described
And
it.
it was a genuine laugh.
Perfectly genuine.
Well then, I've made a mistake. Good. I'm really pleased to hear.
It was even better than you think. It was Serge who laughed first.
Serge laughed first.
Yes.
He laughed first and then you joined?
Yes.
But what made him laugh?
He laughed because he sensed I was about to laugh. I guess he laughed to put me at my
It
ease.
doesn't count if Serge laughed first. If Serge laughed first, it was to diffuse your laughter. I mean, it wasn't a genuine laugh.
It was perfectly genuine.
It might have been a genuine laugh, but it wasn't for the right reason.
The right reasons, I'm confused.
He wasn't laughing because his painting is ridiculous. You and he weren't laughing for the same reason. He was laughing to ingratiate himself in the conversation, put himself on your wavelength, to prove that on top of being an aesthete who can spend more on a painting than you earn in a year, he's still the same old cow you used to get around with.
Mm-hmm. You know,
Yes.
this is going to amaze you.
Go on.
I didn't like the painting, but I actually didn't hate it.
Of course not. You can't hate what's invisible. You can't hate nothing.
No, it has something.
What do you mean?
It has something, it's not nothing.
You're kidding.
I'm not as harsh as you, it's a work of art. There's a system behind it.
System.
A system.
What system?
It's the completion of a journey. It wasn't painted by accident. It's a work of art which states its claim as part of a trajectory. Go ahead, laugh.
You're parroting all of Serge's nonsense. From him, it's heartbreaking. From you, it's just comical.
You know, Mark, this smugness, you want to watch that? It's bitter, it's not very attractive.
Good. The older I get, the more offensive I hope to become.
Great.
A system!
You're impossible to talk to.
You look at this piece of shit! But no, wait, there's a system behind it. You look at this landscape. Is there a system behind it? No. Too evocative, too expressive. Everything's on the canvas, no scope for a system.
I'm glad you're enjoying yourself.
I'm sorry. Explain your feelings to me.
I felt a resonance.
You felt a resonance?
Are you denying that I'm capable of appreciating this painting for myself?
Of course I am.
Well, why?
Because I know you. Because apart from being disastrously open-minded, you're quite sane.
I wish I could say the same for you.
Yvonne, look me in the eye.
I'm looking at you.
Were you moved by Serge's painting?
No?
Answer me this. You and Catherine get this painting as a wedding present. Does it make you happy? Does it make you happy?
Of course it doesn't make me happy. It doesn't make me happy, but generally speaking, I'm not the sort of person to say, I'm happy just like that. I'm trying to think of a moment when I could have said, yes, I'm happy. Are you happy to be getting married? My mother stupidly asked me one day, are you at least happy to be getting married? Well, why wouldn't I be? What's why wouldn't I be got to do with it? You're either happy or you're not happy. Why wouldn't I be got to do with it?
As far as I'm concerned, it's not white. And when I say as far as I'm concerned, I mean objective. Objectively speaking, it's not white. Mark thinks it's white. That's his point. Mark thinks it's white because he's gotten caught up on the idea that it is white. Unlike Yvonne. Yvonne can tell it's not white. And Mark can think whatever he likes. What do I care?
Obviously, I should have taken the Ignatian. Why do I have to be so categorical? What possible difference could it make to me if I let Serge be taken in by modern art? I mean, it is a serious matter, but I could have found some other way to put it to him. Could have found a less aggressive tone. Even if it makes me physically ill that my best friend has bought a white painting, I ought to avoid attacking him about it. I have to be nicer to him. From now on, I'm on my best behavior.
Feel like a laugh?
Go on.
Yvonne like the Andrea.
Well, where is it?
You'd like another look?
Let me see it.
I knew you'd come around to it. Yvonne got it right away.
Uh-huh.
All right, listen. It's just a picture. No need to get bogged down with it. Life's too short. Speaking of that, have you read this? Read it. It's a masterpiece. Incredibly modern. Read that, you don't need to read anything else. But like the office, the hospital. I don't have any time to read anymore. I'm obliged to go straight for the essentials.
Ah, like paintings, which ingeniously eliminate form and color, those old chestnuts.
Yes. But I am still capable of appreciating more figurative work. Like your Flemish number, very restful.
What's Flemish about it? It's a view of Carcassonne.
What I mean is it's slightly Flemish in style. Well, the view. In any case, it's very pretty.
It's not worth anything. You know that.
What difference does that make? Anyways, who knows, in a few years, the entrees might not even be worth anything.
You know, I've been thinking. Yes, I've been thinking, and I changed my mind. Yes, the other day I was driving across town, and I thought, you know, isn't there deep down something really poetic about what Serge has done? Isn't surrendering to the incoherent urge to buy a truly authentic impulse?
You're very conciliatory today. Unrecognizable. What's this bland, submissive tone of voice? It doesn't suit you at all, by the way.
No, let me explain. I'm apologizing.
Apologizing? What for?
Too thin-skinned, too high-strung. I overreact. You could say I lack judgment.
Read Seneca.
That's it. See, for instance, you say, read Seneca, in which case I could have gotten annoyed. In fact, I could have gotten really annoyed over the course of conversation by you saying, read Seneca, which is absurd to me.
No, it's not absurd.
It's not?
No, because you thought you could identify.
No, I didn't say I was.
Well, you
annoyed.
said you could
Yes,
easily
yes, I could
get annoyed,
easily.
and I understand that. Because when I said read Seneca, you thought you could identify a kind of superiority. You say you lack judgment, I say read Seneca, well, it's obnoxious.
It is a little.
Having said that, it is true you lack judgment, because I didn't say read Seneca, I said read Seneca.
You're right. You're right.
The fact of the matter is, you simply lost your sense of humor, Mark.
Probably.
Lost your sense of humor, Mark. You really have lost your sense of humor. I was talking to Yvonne the other day. We recently agreed you lost your sense of humor. Where is he? He is capable of being on time. We'll miss the beginning.
Yvonne thinks I've lost my sense of humor.
Yvonne and I knew you recently somewhat lost your sense of humor.
So the last time you two saw each other, he said he liked your painting very much, and I lost my sense of humor.
Oh, yes, yes, thank you that. Yes, very much so. And he meant it. What's that you're reading?
Ignatia.
Oh, you believe in homeopathy?
I don't believe in anything.
Don't you think Yvonne's lost a lot of weight?
So is she.
It's this wedding, eating away at the both of them.
Yes.
How's Paula?
All right. Where are you going to put it?
Oh, I don't know yet. There? We're there. Too ostentatious.
You're gonna have it framed?
No! No, 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 no.
Why not?
It's not supposed to be framed.
Oh, is that right?
The artist doesn't want it to be. It mustn't be interrupted. It's already in its setting. Here, look. Come on. See?
What is it? Adhesive tape?
No, it's a kind of craft paper made up by the artist.
It's funny the way you say the artist.
Well, what else am I supposed to
Well,
say?
I don't know. You could say the painter or whatever his name is, Andreas.
So?
But you say the artist as if he's. Oh, well, never mind. Doesn't matter. Listen, what are we gonna go see? Let's see a movie with a little substance for once.
Well, it's 8 o'clock now. You said we'd meet between 7 and half past. You know, I can't imagine how this man, who has absolutely nothing to do whatsoever, am I right?
Right.
Manages to be late every single time. I mean, where the fuck is he?
Let's just eat dinner.
Well, it's 5 past now. So we need between 7 and half past. What do you mean by the way I say the artist?
Nothing. I was going to say something stupid.
Well, go on.
You say, the artist, as if he's some indefinable being. The artist, some sort of god.
Well, for me, he is a god. Do you think I would fork out a fortune for a mere mortal?
Well, no.
God. You know, I went to the Pompidou on Monday. You know how many entreoses they have at the Pompidou? 3. 3 entreos. Is that the Pompidou?
Amazing.
Mine's as good as any of them, if not better. Listen, I have a suggestion. Let's give Yvonne exactly 3 more minutes, and if he's not here, let's get the hell out of here. I found a great new restaurant, Lioness.
Why are you so jumpy?
I'm not jumpy.
Yes, you are jumpy.
No, I'm not jumpy. All right, I'm jumpy, because this slackness is intolerable. This inability to practice any kind of self-discipline.
The fact of the matter is, I'm getting on your nerves. And you're taking it out on poor Yvonne.
What do you mean, poor Yvonne? Are you shitting me? You're not getting on my nerves. Why would he be getting on my nerves? He is getting on my nerves. It's true. He's getting on my nerves. It's this ingratiating tone of voice, a little smile behind every word. It's as if he's forcing himself to be pleasant. Well, don't be pleasant. Whatever you do, don't be pleasant. Could it be the entrees? Could buying the entrees have triggered this feeling of constraint between us? Buying something without his approval? Well, screw your approval. Screw your approval, Mark.
Could it be the entrees? Buying the entrees? No. It started a long time ago. In fact, it started on a day when we were discussing a work of art, and you uttered quite seriously the word
Deconstruction.
It wasn't so much the word deconstruction that upset me, but the air of solemnity imbued with. You said, humorously, unapologetically, without a hint of irony, the word deconstruction. You, my friend. I didn't know the best way to handle the situation, so I made a throwaway remark. I said, you know, I must be becoming intolerant in my old age. And you said, who do you think you are? What gives you the right to set yourself apart? What makes you so high and mighty? Serge responded in the shittiest way possible and completely unexpected. He said, you're just Mark. What makes you so special? That day, I should have punched you in your face, and while you were lying half dead on the ground, I should have said to you, you're supposed to be my friend, Serge. What sort of a friend are you, Serge, if you don't think your friends are special? Lioness, he said. Little heavy, isn't it? All those sausages, what do you think?
12 minutes past 8.
So a crisis, insoluble problem, major crisis. Both stepmothers want their name on the wedding invitation. Catherine, who adores her stepmother, who more or less brought her up, she wants her name on the invitation. She wants it, and her stepmother is not anticipating, which is understandable, not appearing next to the mother who is dead, next to Catherine's father, whereas my stepmother, whom I detest, it is out of the question whether her name should appear on the wedding invitation. But my father won't have his name on it unless hers is taken off, unless Catherine's stepmother is taken off, which is unacceptable. I suggest that all the parents' names should be left off the invitation. After all, we're not adolescents. We can invite guests to our wedding ourselves. But Catherine screamed her head off, arguing that it would be a slap in the face to her parents, or a pain through her nose for the reception, and especially for her stepmother, who's gone through so much trouble, even though she isn't her real mother. So I let myself be persuaded, totally against my better judgment, because she wore me down. So I agreed that my stepmother, whom I detest, who is a complete bitch, I agreed that she can be on the invitation. So I phoned my mother to warn her. I say, Mother, we have absolutely no choice. I've done everything we can do, but Colette's name has to be on the invitation. She said, if Colette's name is on the invitation, then take mine off. I said, Mother, please don't make things more difficult. She said, how dare you leave my name on the program to float around and attach to your father's below Colette's like she's some limpet. And I said, Mother, I have friends waiting for me. I'm gonna hang up and I'll call you tomorrow after a good night's rest. And she said, why am I always an afterthought? And I said, you're not always an afterthought. Yes, I'm always an afterthought. And what you mean is that don't make things more difficult. Is that everything's been cooked up behind my back. Everything's been decided without me. Good old Nadia. She'll agree to anything. And get this, she said this in the aid of a Mother! I have friends waiting for me. I'm going to hang up. And she's like, that's right. There's always something more important to do than me. Always something more important. And then she hung up. Catherine was listening but hadn't heard her side of the conversation. She said, well, what did she say? And I said, she doesn't want her name on the invitation. She said, no, what did she say about the wedding? They said nothing. She said, you're lying. I said, Kathy, I promise you, I'm not lying. She doesn't want her name on the invitation. She said, well, you call back your mother and you tell her to rise above your vanity. And I said, you could say the same thing about your stepmother. And then what she managed to say was she started screaming and saying, oh, it's me. I'm the one who wants her name on the invitation. It's me. If she knew all this trouble we were going through, she'd be down on her knees, begging to be taken off the invitation. So I call my mother back. Yvonne, my mother says, up to now you've conducted your affairs in the most chaotic way imaginable, and all because you decided to embark on matrimony. I have to spend all evening and all night with your father, a man who I haven't seen in 15 years, a man who I have to reveal my hip size and my puffy cheeks, not to mention Colette, who has taken up bridge. You know, my mother always liked bridge, according to Felix. So she said, she's like, get this. I understand this all can't be avoided, but the invitation, the one thing where my name has to be on, I don't understand why I have to make a solo appearance. So Catherine, who's listening on the extension, she screws up her face in disgust. And so I say, stop being so selfish. She goes, I'm not selfish. You're the selfish one, Yvonne. You're just like Mimi Romero, who told me that I have a heart of stone, that the whole family has a heart of stone. You know, she's gone completely insane, by the way. That after I refused to raise her pay to 60 francs an hour cash, she had the gall to tell me that I have a heart of stone, that the whole family has a heart of stone, when she knows very well about poor Andrea's pacemaker. And I said, Mother, I have friends waiting for me. She said, that's right. Everything's a joke to you. Everything's always something more important to do than you. So you go ahead. You're the selfish one. You go see our precious friends.
Then what?
Then nothing. Mini drama cut short with Catherine because I was late.
Why do you let yourself get fucked over by all these women?
Why do I let myself be fucked over? I don't know. We're all insane.
Lost weight.
Of course I have 10 pounds purely through stress.
Oh, read
The
Seneca.
happy life. What's he suggest?
It's a masterpiece.
Oh.
He hasn't read it.
No, but Serge has just told me it's a masterpiece.
I said it was a masterpiece because it is a masterpiece.
Right.
It is a masterpiece.
Why are you getting annoyed?
Well, you seem to be insinuating that I use the word masterpiece any chance I get. Well, you said it with kind of a sarcastic tone.
Not at
Yeah,
all.
I guess the word masterpiece
Is he
kind of-
crazy? Not at all. However, when you described it, you used the word incredibly modern.
Yes, so.
You said incredibly modern as if modern was the highest compliment you could give something. As if you couldn't think of anything more admirable, more profoundly admirable than modern.
So?
So nothing. And please note, I made no mention of the word incredibly. Incredibly modern.
You're really needling me today.
You're not going to fight. That would just about finish me off.
You don't think it's extraordinary that a man who wrote nearly 2,000 years ago could still be completely up to date?
Not at all. That's the definition of a class.
Well, you're just playing with words.
Okay, so what are we gonna do? I guess we can forget about the movies. I'm sorry. Let's go eat.
Serge tells me you're very taken with his painting.
Yes, I'm kind of taken with it. Yes. I guess you're not.
No. Let's go eat. Serge made a very tempting recommendation. Lyonnaise.
You think the food's too
I
fatty?
think the food's a little bit on the fatty side, but I'm willing to give it a
No,
shot.
if you think the food's too fatty, we'll find somewhere else.
No! Let's give it a shot.
We'll go to the restaurant if you think you'll like it. If not, we'll leave.
You like Lionel's food?
I'll do whatever you like.
He'll do whatever you like. Whatever you like, he'll always do.
What's the matter with you? You're both acting very strange.
Well, he's right, you know. Once in a while, you could have an opinion of your own.
Listen, Serge. If you're going to use me as your punching bag, I'm out of here. I put up with enough today.
Where's your sense of humor, Yvonne?
What?
Where's your sense of humor, kiddo?
Where's my sense of humor? Are you trying to be funny? Where's my sense of humor?
You know,
I don't see
recently, I think you've somewhat lost your sense of humor. You better watch that. Believe me.
What's the matter with
Well,
you?
don't you think recently I've also somewhat lost my sense of humor?
Oh, I see.
All right, that's enough. Let's make a decision. Tell you the truth, I'm not even hungry.
You're both very sinister this evening.
Do you like my opinion on your women problems?
Go on.
In my opinion, the most hysterical is Catherine, by far.
Oh, no question.
And if you're already letting yourself be fucked over by her, you're in for a hideous future.
What can I do?
Cancel it.
Cancel the wedding? Are you crazy?
He's right.
I can't.
Well, why not?
I can't because I can't, that's all. It's all been arranged. I've only been in her uncle's stationery business for a month.
What's that got to do with it?
It's her uncle's stationery business. He had no reason to take on anybody. Least of all, someone who's only ever worked in textiles.
Do what you like. I've told you what I think.
Listen, Serge, I don't mean to be rude, but you're not necessarily the type of person I'd ask for matrimonial advice. You haven't seemed to be a great success in that field.
Precisely.
I can't cancel the wedding. I know Catherine is hysterical, but she has her good points. There are certain crucial qualities you need when marrying someone like me. Oh. Where are you going to put it?
I don't know yet.
How about over there?
Because there, it would be blocked out by the sunlight.
Oh yeah. You know, I thought of you at the store today. We ran off 500 posters of this guy who paints totally white flowers white on a totally white background.
The Antrios is not white.
Of course not, I was just saying.
You think this painting is not white, Yvonne?
No.
Ah.
Then what color is it?
There's various colors. Yellow, some gray, some slightly ochreish lines.
And are you moved by these colors, Yvonne?
Yes, I'm moved by these colors.
You're spineless, Yvonne. You have no substance. You're an amoeba.
Why are you attacking Yvonne like
Don't
this?
ask history. He's obsequious, dazzled by money, dazzled by what he believes to be culture. And as you know, culture is something I absolutely piss on.
What's gotten into you?
How could you, Yvonne? And in front of me? In front of me?
Yvonne, what do you mean in front of you? What do you mean in front of you? Yes, I find these colors touching. It's all the same to you. Stop trying to control everything.
How could you say in front of me that you find these colors touching?
Because it's the truth.
The truth. You find these colors touching, Yvonne?
Yes, I find these colors touching.
You find these colors touching,
He
Yvonne?
finds these colors touching. He's perfectly entitled.
No, he's not entitled to.
What do you mean he's not entitled?
He's not entitled
I'm
to.
not entitled.
No.
What do you mean he's not entitled to? Look, I don't think you're feeling well. Maybe you should go see somebody.
He's not entitled to say he finds these colors touching because he
I
doesn't.
don't find these colors touching.
There are no colors. You can't see them, so you don't find them touching.
Speak for
This
yourself.
is very demeaning,
What
Yvonne.
do you think you are, Mark? Who are you to legislate? You don't like anything. You despise everyone. You take pride in not being a man of your time.
What is that supposed to mean, a man of my time?
I'm leaving.
Where are you going?
I put up with enough of your tantrums.
Oh, come on. You're not going to start taking offense now, are you? If you go, you're giving in to him. A man of his time is a man who lives in his own time.
Bullshit. How can a man fit any other time but his own? Answer me that.
A man of his time is someone of whom it can be said in 20 years or 100 years' time that he was representative of his era.
To what end?
What do you mean, to what end?
What use is it to me if someone says I was representative of my era?
Listen, sweetheart. We're not talking about you, if you can imagine such a thing. We don't give a fuck about you. A man of his time, I'm trying to explain to you, is someone, like many of the men you admire, that makes some kind of contribution to the human race. A man of his time doesn't assume the history of art has ended with some Flemish view of Pavilion.
Carcassonne.
Same thing. A man of his time plays his part in the fundamental dynamic of evolution.
And that's a good thing in your view?
It's not good or bad. Why do you always have to moralize?
And you, for example, you play your role in the fundamental dynamic of evolution.
I do.
And what about Yvonne?
Surely not what part can an amoeba play.
In his way, Yvonne is a typical man of his time.
How can you tell? Now from that motel painting he has hanging on his wall.
That is not a motel painting.
It is a motel.
It is not.
What's the difference? Yvonne represents a certain way of thinking, a way of living that is completely modern. And so do you, Mark. I'm sorry, but you're a typical man of your time. And in fact, the harder you try not to be, the more you are.
Okay. Fine. So what's the problem?
There is no problem. Except for you. Your desire that you take pride in to shut yourself off from humanity, and you'll never manage to. It's like you're in quicksand. The harder you try to get out of it, the deeper you sink. Now, apologize to Yvonne.
Yvonne is a coward.
Bravo.
Wasn't a good idea to see each other tonight, was it? I ought to go too.
Maybe.
Right.
You're the coward. Attacking someone who is incapable of defending themselves, as you well know.
You're right. You're right. When you put it like that, it makes me feel so much worse. However, I don't understand. I don't know what binds me to Yvonne. What my relationship with him consists of.
Yvonne's always been what he
No,
is.
Yvonne used to be eccentric. Kind of absurd, but his eccentricity was disarming.
What about me?
What about you?
Do you have any idea what binds you to me?
That's a question that could take us down a very long road.
Be gone.
I'm sorry I upset Yvonne.
Ah, at last you've said something approximately human. And to make things worse, that motel painting he has hanging on his wall was, I'm afraid, in fact, painted by his father.
It was?
Yes.
Shit. But you said...
Yes, but I remembered as soon as I'd said it.
Shit.
Yvonne returns! The elevator was full. I clattered down the stairs, all the way thinking, spineless, and amoeba, no substance. I thought I'll come back with a gun and I'll blow his head off. And then go and obsequious I am. Then I got to the lobby and I said, listen, pal, you haven't been to therapy for 6 years to wind up shooting your best friend. You haven't been in therapy for 6 years without learning that some deep anxiety must lie behind this insane. So I relaunched myself as I mount the potential stare that this is a cry for help. I have to help Mark if it's the last thing I do. In fact, I discussed you both with Finkel's on.
You discussed us with Finkel's on?
I discussed everything with Finkel's on.
Why exactly were you discussing us?
I forbid you to discuss me with that asshole.
You are in no position to forbid me anything.
Why were you discussing us?
I knew your relationship was under a strain, and I wanted Finkel's on to explain it.
What did the bastard say?
He said something kind of amusing.
What? They're allowed to give their opinions
No,
now?
they didn't give their opinion, but this time he did. He even made a gesture, and he never makes a gesture. Sometimes I say to him, for God's sake, move around a little!
All right, what did he say?
Who gives a fuck what he said?
What did he say?
What possible interest could we have in what he said?
I want to know what the bastard said, all right? Shit.
You want to know?
Oh, you took notes?
I wrote it down because it was complicated. Should I read it to you?
Go on.
and you are who you are, because you're who you are, then I'm who I am, and you're who you are. On the other hand, if I'm who I am, because you're who you are, and you are who you are because I'm who I am, then I am not who I am, and you are not who you are.
How much do you pay this man?
400 francs twice a week.
Good. You're very lucky to be getting the benefit of this man's experience.
Yes, absolutely. We really appreciate it. You can copy.
Oh yes, it's bound to come in handy.
You're wrong. It's very profound.
Oh, if it's because of him you come here to turn the other cheek, you should be grateful. He's cut off your balls, but you're happy about it. That's all that counts.
And all this because he doesn't want you to believe that I like your entree.
I don't give a fuck what you think about it, either of you.
The more I see it, the more I like it, honest.
Let's stop talking about the painting, shall we? I have no interest in discussing it further.
You're getting touchy.
And not touchy, Mark? Said what you want to say about it. Fine. The subject is closed.
You're getting upset.
I am not upset, Mark. I'm exhausted.
If you're upset about something, it means you're getting caught up in other people's opinions.
I'm exhausted, Mark.
Oh.
This is completely pointless. To tell you the truth, I'm really starting to get bored with the both of you.
Let's go eat.
Why don't you go? Why don't the two of you go off together?
No, it's so rare the three of us are together.
Just as well, by the look of it.
I don't understand what's going on. Can't we just calm down? Why are we fighting over a painting?
You realize all this calm down and waving the white flag is just adding fuel to the fire? Is this a new thing?
I will not be undermined.
Very impressive. Maybe I should go see this Finkel's-on.
You can't. There are no vacancies. What are you eating?
Ignatia.
Listen, I've given into the logic of events. Marriage, children, stationary, death. I mean, what else can go wrong?
Oh, what? We're not worthy to look at it anymore?
Exactly.
Or are you afraid if you keep looking at it, you'll wind up seeing it through my eyes?
No. You know what Paul Valery says, and I'd go quite a bit further.
I don't give a fuck what Paul Valery says.
You've stopped liking Paul Valery?
Don't quote Paul Valery at me.
But you used to love Paul
I don't
Valery.
give a fuck what Paul Valery says.
But I discovered him through you. You're the one who got me into Paul Valery.
at me. I don't give a fuck what he says.
What do you give a fuck about?
I give a fuck about you buying that painting. I give a fuck about you spending 200 grand on a piece of white shit.
You're starting again, Mark.
I'm going to tell you what I give a fuck about. Since everyone's coming clean. I give a fuck about your snickering and insinuations. Your suggestion that I also think this painting is a grotesque joke. You've refused to admit that I can find a genuine attraction to it. You've tried to set up some kind of loathsome complicity between us, and that's what's made me feel, Mark, to use your expression, how little binds us together these days. Your perpetual display of distrust.
It's true. I can't imagine you generally loving that painting.
Well, why?
Because I love Serge. And I'm not capable of loving Serge, who's capable of buying that painting.
Why do you say buying? Why don't you say
I
loving?
can't say loving. I can't believe loving.
Then why would I buy it if I didn't love it?
The nub of the question.
See how smug he is? I'm trying to be straightforward, and he responds to that pompous, heavy-handed tone. You don't think for a second, however improbable it might seem, that I could find a genuine attachment to it, and that your vicious, inflexible opinions could be hurtful to me.
No.
When you asked me what I thought of Paula, a woman who once had an entire dinner conversation maintaining Ehlers-Danlos syndrome could be cured homeopathically, did I say that I found her ugly, repellent, and totally charmless? I could have.
Is that what you think of Paula?
What's your theory?
No, he doesn't think that.
Answer
He
me.
You see the effect you can have?
Do you think what you just said about Paula?
Worse, actually.
No.
Worse? Serge? Worse than repellent? Will you explain to me how someone can be worse than repellent?
Interesting. When it's something that concerns you personally, you see words can bite a little deeper.
Serge, explain to me how someone can be worse than repellent.
No need to take that frosty tone. Perhaps it's... Let me try and explain this to you. The way she waves away cigarette smoke.
The way she waves away cigarettes.
Yes, the way she waves away cigarette smoke. What appears to you to be a gesture of no importance, what appears to you to be a completely harmless gesture, is in fact the opposite. And her method of waving away cigarette smoke sits right at the heart of her repellent.
You're speaking to me of Paula, the woman who shares my life in these intolerable terms because you disapprove of her way of waving away
Yes,
cigarette
her
smoke.
method of waving away cigarette smoke condemns her out of hand.
Serge, before I completely lose control, you better explain yourself. This is very serious, what you're doing.
A normal woman would say, "Oh, I'm sorry, but I find your smoking a bit uncomfortable. Would you mind moving your ashtray?" But not her. She describes her contempt in the air with this calculated gesture, as if to say, "Go on, smoke. Smoke. It's pathetic, but what's the point of calling attention to it? And that way you can't tell if it's you or your cigarette smoke that's getting up her nose."
You're exaggerating.
Notice how he doesn't say I'm wrong. He says I'm exaggerating, but he doesn't say I'm wrong. Her method of waving away cigarette smoke reveals a cold, condescending, and narrow-minded nature. Just what you're in the process of acquiring yourself, Mark. It's a shame. Really, it's a shame that you've taken up with such a life-denying woman.
Paula is not life-denying.
Take back everything you've said, Serge.
No.
Yes, you have to.
Take back everything you've said.
Take it back. Take it back.
For the last time, I demand you take back what you just said.
In my view, the two of you are an aberration, a pair of fossils.
Hey, both of you! Stop it! Both of you!
I'm wrong, miss.
Hey, both of you!
Shit. Come on. Let me see. Show it to me. Wait a minute.
You're complete freaks, both of you!
Here. Hold on there for a while. Hold.
Two grown men gone completely insane.
Don't get excited.
Oh, that really hurts. If I find out you burst my eardrums,
Of course not.
how do you know? You're not ears, nose, and throat. Two grown men gone completely insane. Educated people.
Just calm down.
You can't abolish someone because you don't like the way of waving away cigarettes.
Yes, you can.
All right, but it doesn't make any sense.
What do you know about sense?
That's right. Keep attacking me. Keep attacking me. I could be hemorrhaging internally. I could see a mouse run by.
It's a rat.
A rat?
It comes and goes.
A rat?
Put the bottle back on there. Keep it on there.
Something must happen. Something must have happened between you two. Something must have happened for you to become this demented.
I bought a piece of art which makes Mark uncomfortable!
Saying again! You can't stop, both of you. You're in a downward spiral. It's like me and Colette, the most practical, logical relationship ever.
Who's Colette?
My stepmother.
You haven't mentioned her in a while.
Why didn't you tell me what you thought about Paula?
I didn't want to upset you.
No.
What do you mean?
No.
No.
When I asked you what you thought of Paula, what you said was she's a perfect match for me.
Yes?
Which sounded positive coming from you.
Sure.
Given the state you're in at the
All right,
time.
what are you trying to prove?
But now your assessment of Paula, or more so of me, is far harsher.
I don't understand.
Of course you
I
understand.
don't.
Since I no longer support you in your frenzy, though recent craving for novelty, I've become condescending, narrow-minded,
I'm
fossilized.
in agony. It's like there's something drilling through my brain.
Have a sip of brandy.
Oh, what do you think? Something's loose in there. Don't you think alcohol's a little risky?
Would you like an
An
aspirin?
aspirin, well...
What the fuck do you want?
Oh, don't pay any attention to me. Carry on with your obnoxious conversation. Don't pay any attention to me.
Easier said than
You can
done.
have a drop of compassion, but no.
I don't mind you spending time with Paula. I don't resent you being with
I've
Paula.
got no reason to resent it.
But you resent me. I was about to say for being with the Antrios.
Yes,
I'm missing something here.
I didn't replace you with Paula.
Are you saying I replaced you with the Antrios?
Yes.
I replaced you with the Antrios?
Yes, with the Antrios and everything it implies.
Do you have any idea what he's saying?
I couldn't care less. You're both insane.
In my time, you'd have never bought that painting.
What do you mean in your time?
There's a time when you made a distinction between me and other people, when you judged things by my standards.
Was there ever such a time?
That's just cruel and petty.
No, I assure you, I'm staggered.
If Yvonne hadn't turned to such a sponge, you'd back me up.
Keep going. It's water off a duck's back.
There's a time when you were proud to be my friend. You congratulated yourself on being a maverick. You enjoyed my taste for setting apart, enjoyed exhibiting me to your friends untamed. You, whose life was so normal. I was your alibi. But I suppose that kind of affection dries up. Belatedly, you claim your independence.
I like belatedly.
But I detest your independence. It's violence. You've abandoned me. I've been betrayed. And as far as I'm concerned, you're a traitor.
If I understand correctly, he was my mentor. And if I loved you as a mentor, what were the nature of your feelings toward me?
You can guess.
Yes, but I want to hear you say it.
I loved the way you saw me. I was flattered. I was always grateful for you thinking of me as a man apart. Hell, I even thought being a man apart was somehow a superior condition until one day you pointed out to me that it wasn't.
This is very alarming.
It's the truth.
What a disaster.
Yes, what a disaster.
What a disaster.
Especially for me. Whereas you found a new family. Your penchant for idolatry has unearthed new objects of worship. The artist, deconstruction.
What is deconstruction?
Oh, you don't know about deconstruction? Ask Serge, he's very much on top of that subject lately. To convince me that a ridiculous piece of artwork is comprehensible, you pick a word from Builders Weekly? You're smiling. See, when you smile like that, it gives me some sort of hope. Like an idiot.
Can't we just make up and enjoy ourselves this evening? All this is ludicrous.
It's my fault. We haven't seen each other lately because I haven't been around. So you started mixing up with the high ends. The Robsons, the Dupré-Coderres, the dentist. Ooh, Roger Hallier.
No, not at all. He's from a completely different world. He really likes conceptual art.
It's all the same
No, it's not all the same thing, Mark.
Got even more evidence of how I let you slip away. Now when we talk, we can't even make ourselves understood.
I had no idea whatsoever, really. It's come as a complete surprise to me, the extent to which you owned me, how much under your influence I was.
I didn't own you, as it turns out. You should never leave your friends unchaperoned. See, your friends need to be chaperoned, otherwise they'll get away. Look at poor Yvonne. His chaotic behavior used to delight us. He brought us into originality, and now he's making every effort to piss it away.
Us? He brought us? Do you have any idea what you're saying? Everything has to revolve around you. Why can't you just learn to love people for themselves,
What
Mark?
do you mean for
For
themselves?
what they are!
But what are they? What are they apart from my faith in them? I'm desperate to find a friend who has some kind of prior existence. So far, I've had no luck. I've had to mold you. But see, it never works. There comes a day when your creature has dinner with the Dupré-Coderres, and to confirm his new status, goes off and buys a white painting.
So, here we are at the end of a 15-year friendship.
Yes.
Pathetic.
We only managed to have a normal conversation. If I hadn't lost my temper.
Well,
Nothing.
no, go on. Why can't we exchange one single dispassionate word?
I don't believe in the values that dominate contemporary art. The rule of novelty, the rule of surprise. Surprise is dead meat, Serge. No sooner conceived than dead.
All right, so
So that's all I was to you. My surprise eye.
what are you talking
A
about?
surprise that lasted quite a while, I'll admit.
I told you, Finkelstein is a genius. He can explain the whole thing.
Yvonne, I'd appreciate it if you stopped umpiring and stopped acting like you weren't completely implicated in this conversation.
Don't implicate me. I refuse. I already have a burst eardrum. What has this got to do with
See
you?
what I can say about you at the moment? Apart from everything else I've told you, is your craving to put me and Serge on the same level. You would like us to be equal to indulge your cowardice, talking on equal footing, talking as if we were still in a friendship. But we were never equal. You have to choose.
I have chosen.
Excellent.
I don't need a
Are
supporter.
we going to turn the
Why do we
down?
see each other if we hate each other? I mean, I don't hate you, but you hate me. And so why do we see each other if we hate each other? I was looking forward to a relaxing evening, seeing my two best friends, going out to the movies, getting away from all this.
Are you aware you have talked about nothing but yourself?
Well, who are you talking about? Everybody talks about
Fuck
themselves.
up our evening.
I fuck up
You-
your evening.
Yes.
I fuck up your evening. I fuck up your evening.
Don't get excited.
Are you saying that it's me who fucked up your
Wait, how many
evening?
times are you gonna
Just
say
answer the question. Are you saying it's me who fucked up your evening?
You arrived 3/4 of an hour late. You don't apologize. You swamp us with your domestic woes.
And your inertia, your sheer neutral spectator's inertia has lured Mark and I into the worst excesses.
You two, you're starting on me too?
Yes, because on this subject, I completely agree with him. You create the conditions upon
You
you.
pipe up with this finicky, subcertain voice of reason. It's intolerable.
No, I could cry. I'm very close to tears.
Cry.
Cry.
You're telling me to cry?
You have every reason to cry. You're losing your two best friends. You're marrying a Gorgon.
So that's it. It's all over.
You said it yourself.
What about my wedding?
Why do we see each other if we hate each other?
What about my wedding? You're my witnesses.
Find someone else.
I can't.
Take someone else at the last minute.
You're not allowed to.
Of course you
You
are.
are.
You aren't.
Don't panic. We'll come.
But what you should do is cancel the wedding.
He's right.
What have I ever done to you? This is savage what you're doing. You could have had your right after the 12th, but no. You're determined to destroy my wedding. A wedding which has already been a disaster. A wedding which has made me lose 10 pounds. Now you're totally fucking it up. The two guys who guaranteed some spark of satisfaction in my life are determined to destroy my wedding. Just my luck. Do you think I like rolls of Filofax paper or Scotch tape? Do you think a man wakes up desperate to sell expandable, documented wallets? What can I do? I've farted around for 40 years. I made my friends laugh. I made my friends laugh. But at night, who's left? A solitary rat. This buffoon, dying of loneliness, who would turn on anything that talks, and who would he find on his answering machine? But his mother, and his mother.
Don't get upset.
Don't get upset! Who upset me in the first place? I'm not like you. Look at me. I don't have refined sensibilities. I'm not a heavyweight. I don't have an opinion.
Just calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. Are you trying to drive me crazy? Telling me to calm down. Calm down is the worst thing you can say to someone who's lost his calm. I'm not like you. I don't want to be a point of reference. I don't want to be a heavyweight. I just want to be Yvonne the Joker. Yvonne the Joker!
Could we try and steer clear of pathos?
Anything for me to nibble on just to keep from passing out.
Have some olives.
Hand them over.
You want some?
Do you have anywhere to put the bits? I think we've reached these extremes apocalypse because of a white square.
It's not white.
A white piece of shit! A shit. No, you're buying this thing. It's the mid-10. Yes, sir. You're not going to.
Well, do you or don't you?
Yeah. Just a minute. I've got a blue one.
We'll hand it over. Go on. Go on.
You're not going to do
Come on.
You're raving lunatics, both of you.
Well, I'm starving. Want to go eat?
The day after the wedding, Catherine took her bouquet and a little bag of sugar and almonds and placed them on her mother's grave at the Montpellier Cemetery. I slipped away to cry behind a monument. And thinking about this touching tribute, I silently started sobbing in my bed. I have to speak to Finkelstein about this tendency to cry. It's not normal for a man my age. It all started, or it all seemed to come across the evening of the white painting. After Serge demonstrated to Marc that he cared more about himself than the painting, he left. We had dinner, shares a meal. At dinner, Marc and Serge decided to reconstruct our friendship, a friendship destroyed by word and deed. At dinner, one of them used the word
Trial period.
This word trial period described our friendship. It set off in me an unrational and uncontrollable compulsion. In fact, I no longer can stand any form of argument. Nothing formative in this world, nothing beautiful or great in this world is born out of rational argument.
When Mark and I had succeeded in obliterating the skier with the aid of Swiss soap plus oxgall, which Paula recommended, I looked at the Entrios, turned to Mark, and said, "Did you know that ink from felt tips was washable?" And he said, "No. No, I didn't. Did you?" "No," I said very quickly, lying. I came within an inch of saying, "Yes, I guess I did know." But how could I have launched our trial period with such a disappointing admission? But was it right to start with a lie? A lie. Let's be reasonable. Why am I being so absurdly virtuous? Why does my relationship with Mark have to be so complicated?
Under the white clouds
Snow is falling. Can't see the clouds or the snow. A solitary man glides downhill on his skis. The snow is falling. It falls until the man disappears into the landscape. My friend Serge, who's one of my oldest friends, has bought a painting. It's a canvas about 4 feet by 3. It represents a man who glides across space and disappears.
Chairs, and then we'll come back in and meet here in like 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.